How did you get arrested?
It was in Florida, Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, which is horrible.
Yeah, so basically there was
happened?
an abandoned school, and it was under construction, and it was in the middle of a neighborhood, and we should have looked this up before we had a team or anything. But apparently in the state of Florida, trespassing on a construction site is a felony. It's like a federal crime. Wow. We had no idea. And so we hopped a fence where all
in
the signs
middle
said
of a
like
neighborhood too.
Yeah,
There's
we were
probably
stupid.
like 50 people watching us do this, and so when we hopped in, immediately apparently someone just called the cops.
Yeah.
So within
we talked about it
30 minutes.
before too. Like before we even we were with two other guys as well. Yeah. And we were all just like, is this a good idea? Like there were signs everywhere being like, you will be arrested if you do this.
And did you just not believe the signs?
We believed it.
Yeah.
We've been
Makes for good content.
We've been seeing that sign for 3 years, mind you.
Okay.
Like, cause
That's
we
fair.
hop every fence that says well, you're going to be arrested, and we never had been arrested. So
And we
like,
had
this is-
ran from multiple cops like in the past with that. So we were like, oh, like
How do you run from cops? Do they not just like pursue you? I feel like you can't outrun
This,
cops.
this is
than them?
like a muscle that when you practice it, you get better.
You just get like faster at running.
Better at hiding, better at getting around
Yeah.
people. Like, I mean, think about it. The cop doesn't want to go inside the abandoned place. They don't know who we are. They don't know what we have in our backpacks, so they wait outside. We know the abandoned spot, and so we'll sneak our way around, get out the back, call a car, whatever we had to do to get around.
yeah.
Okay, so it's not like a on foot chase. Where
No,
it's like
if-
you're
if
there.
If the
people.
cop is like
Running
running
on the
right
sidewalk.
behind us, we'd probably give up. But we
Okay.
would get around them.
Okay.
Well,
So I'm just saying.
So you're not going to physically like run from the if they're
Well,
like behind, right
if they're
behind
far
you.
security
enough.
guards. Security guards.
Okay.
We've done that.
So in this case, though, how is this one different?
This was different because we did exactly what you said. We were looking out the windows and we saw like not just one or two cops like show up. It was like 10 for some reason because it was a federal crime or whatever. And so we all hid in a janitor's closet and we were just like, if we just wait here for 2 hours,
We're gonna be good.
they'll leave.
But then they got on their loudspeaker and was like,
We know you're in there.
we know you're in there. You have 2 minutes before we send in the dogs.
Oh,
And we were like, oh, fuck no.
And we're like, we cannot do dogs.
No,
like, that's
dogs-
gonna kill us.
That is
bro.
the line. Like as soon as they said dogs,
I
we
would
like
be out.
stuck our hands out the window.
Yep.
Like, sorry.
Yeah. And so as soon as they said dogs, we were just like, all right, you got us. But usually what happened in the past is, we have little baby faces, especially when this is 20 years old. And so we were like, okay, they're going to be fine. Like usually we go up to them, we apologize and say, hey, we're just taking pictures. We didn't break anything. You can see our footage. We didn't break anything to get in. We'll leave. And especially when we say we're from California, like we're not going to come back to Florida. They're usually fine. Nah, these guys are just complete assholes about it.
Yeah.
And to be fair, they're just going to make a lesson out of us. But
Pretty much.
they basically were like, I don't want to hear anything. Just shut up. Don't say anything. Get in the back of the cop car. Arrested immediately. They didn't hear us out. They didn't hear anything.
what was that process like of like being handcuffed and like what was going through your mind?
Well, it was interesting because we were all taken to different corners of the block so that when they all asked us like, why were you guys in there? We couldn't, come up with all different
Nice.
stories. You might have had the sheriff who was the dick.
I had the worst
He was an asshole. I had a deputy who was actually very nice to me and was just kind of like, I'm only doing this because like Paul over here was like, make me
That's
do
good
this.
cop, bad cop though. Like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal, but just tell me what happened, man. Let's get this over with. And your
Exactly.
guy was like, no, you gotta.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seems like it's a tactic.
But
And they all like left off pretty quickly to the
Yeah.
jail, and I sat around for like 30 minutes, and then my guy got a second call, so I went to go to another crime scene. They got another guy arrested who was definitely on some crazy drugs, and I was sitting in the back of the cop car, hands behind my back with this other guy, and this guy's riling around, freaking out, screaming.
I
And
didn't
I'm
know
like,
they commingle like different like
I
people
didn't
they
think
arrest.
so too. I was like, what? I have to be chilling next to
It's
this
like
guy
a
for the
shared
next hour?
Uber, you know? It's like
Dude.
yeah.
Definitely, yeah, crazy experience.
carpooling.
Yeah, carpool.
So what happens when you get to the jail? Like, did the stories match? I assume it's just like
Kind of. I mean, I got to the jail like probably an hour before you did.
I was chilling with this dude for an hour. It was scary. But
Yeah.
we got thrown in there.
It was bad.
And, take the good old mug shots and you sit around in this like open area. It's like the holding area before you get unhandcuffed, you get your orange jumpsuit, all the classic stuff.
They tried to take like all my piercings out, but it like didn't work. Like they couldn't even take this one out. Couldn't figure it out.
And then they called you up for bail. And so
Yeah.
they called me up, they're like, hey, your bail's $2K. You gonna pay it? I was like, sure. paid it. So they're like, okay, you're going to be released sometime today. We'll give you a call. They have Colby come up and say, okay, you're going to pay your bail. I was like, sure. And it was $6,000. But the limit in order to pay by a credit card was $5,000. So
Or just to bail yourself out.
to bail yourself out in jail. So he couldn't bail himself out in jail. So he had to either call someone or I had to go out of the jail to bail him.
What was the difference?
So we both got trespassing charges, but then I also had 2 fake ID charges, and which is so stupid because I was 22 at the time. So I had a fake IDs in my wallet, just like to get in the clubs when I was like 20 or whatever, for an entire year that I just forgot were in like the back of my wallet. And so they were like, when they were like searching me, they were just like, Colbrook, like, what is this? And I was like, it's 2 fake IDs.
And those are felonies. So he had 3
Felonies,
felonies
yeah.
on his name.
So I had the $6,000 bail. He had 2,000.
So how do you get out of that? What ended up happening?
Well, he got to go home, and I got brought to the back, and I had to sleep overnight with the guy that
He got my
Sam.
guy. So the guy that I was
You
arrested
got
with.
his guy?
Yeah, we got paired in the same room. And so like I strategically so there's one bunk, like a sink, a toilet, that's it. It's a very tiny room. And like I strategically took like the bottom bunk so I could kind of like watch what was going on. And he was just like not to be mean, but like a schizophrenic, maybe had Tourette's sort of dude where he'd just like every 30 minutes like be like, "Rah!" Like as I was like trying to sleep and stuff. Like
Horrifying.
A little scary.
Very
Now,
scary.
are they restrained in there? Because I'm always curious if you're in with other people who are maybe a bit unhinged or maybe not mentally there, that maybe they should be restrained so that they can't just come up and like strangle you at night.
So each like pod had a different sort of I don't know, like what people could go in there or whatever, what type of people, I guess. And so the initial pod where I like spent the night, everybody was pretty cool. Everybody was like, besides the guy that was freaking out with me, he didn't do anything violent. He was just like definitely like mentally challenged or something. I don't know. But then the next day I got my name called. I thought it was Sam that was going to bail me out. But they were just like, Colbrook, you got to go to a felon pod because you have 3 felons. And so that pod that I got brought into was like where like murderers and things like that. Like, again, this was jail and not prison though.
Yeah.
Well,
did you
tell him what
yeah.
your other roommate was in for?
Yeah. So just to rewind a little bit, like the deputy took me to this like felon pod and he was just like, dude, you don't even look like you're supposed to be in here. And I was like, I know, I trespassed. Like, I'm not. Yeah. And he was just like, I was like, do you have any advice for me? And he was just like, just go to your cell. Like your buddy should be able to bail you out in like the next 4 or 5 hours, just lay low, you'll be fine. And so I went and I grabbed like a random book. They had like books out in like the main like section of the pod, it was called. And I went to my cell. My guy wasn't in there. And I just like sat there for an hour, heard the door jiggle. And I was like, oh God, this is when I die. Like, this is when I'm going to meet this like cellmate. This guy walks in. He's like a bigger dude, like bald head, but tatted all over, like completely head to toe. Looks super mean. And he was just like, what are you in for, man? I was like, trespassing? He was like, oh, I was smuggling like cocaine across the entire country. And I was like, nice, man. That's fucking sick, dude. Oh my God. And then we just sparked up a conversation and he was super cool. Like he was like, obviously I'm not like saying criminals are cool or whatever, but like he was just a normal ass dude. And like once I explained like what I did online and stuff, he was just like, oh my God, like that's awesome. Why don't you come out to the pod and like meet all my friends? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like the deputy told me to stay here. And he was like, just come on. And so he brought me out to like the main pod and I met everybody. And
Now, what do you mean his friends? Like how long is he in there for to make friends?
well, he was in there for months. Because if nobody's there to bail you out, you have
you're
to
there until your
stay
court date.
Till your court date, yeah. So his court date was scheduled for sometime the next year. I forget. And so he was in there for months already. And he said he had a group of friends. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. And he was just like, "Trust me, we'll take you under our wing. Like nothing's gonna happen to you." And so like they were just like he like literally shouted like as he brought me out. He was like, "Everybody come meet the YouTube kid." I was like, "Oh God, no, this is when I die." But they were super nice.
Yeah.
And
What were
like,
they in for?
Shoot, I didn't ask like everybody.
I'd be so
obviously
curious.
It's very,
Like, why are you here? Why are you here? What did you do?
I don't know if you want to ask a
I was
felon that.
afraid. I was afraid to
I
ask.
don't think you do well in prison, bro.
Maybe not.
You're a little too cute for prison, man.
Hey,
Jack, come on.
That's horrifying.
It was scary.
And did you learn anything from that whole experience? I feel like that'd be kind of humanizing towards people in jail.
Yeah.
Like felons.
Definitely. I mean, the biggest thing I learned, and again, it's going to sound bad, but I'm just saying what I experienced, is that like, even though these people were arrested and could possibly go to prison for years or life, who knows, they were all still normal people. They were all still like shooting the shit just like anybody else would. You know, it's people think that somebody that's committed one crime is just an evil person for life, which of course it depends on the crime. I'm not defending like all criminals or whatever, but at the same time, it's like it's normal people in there. So I just realized like we were just, you know, it was kids like my age that did worse crimes than me, and we were just like playing basketball together and like shooting the shit, talking about
Or even
social
people
media.
that did like smaller stuff. Like there's this guy that was sitting next to you for a couple hours, and he was like, "Dude, I've been in here for months, and all I got was I was smoking weed."
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, come on.
But
And now it's like
pays bail?
now it's like oh, yeah. Some people are I'm guessing
How much was
situations.
bail for smoking weed?
I don't know.
I would
I have no
imagine
idea.
that
But
like
I'm just saying it's
the
like,
time spent in jail and not working would be way higher than the bail that he could post and go out and live his life.
Yeah, exactly. But I was only there for like 5 hours before it.
Were people not like sad about being in there? Because it seems like people are just like
we were
very.
sad.
Like, I would imagine if someone's locked away for a few months, that they would be maybe depressed or feeling really down, or it's hard to be social.
That's what you would think, but
Yeah.
I mean, obviously everybody has their own situation. Sometimes jail and prison for some people is like a home for them because that's all they know. So it really depends on the person, I guess. I know the guy, my cellmate, was really upset because he was dating this girl who was his fiance, and they were supposed to get married. And his like marriage date was while he was in jail waiting for court, and she couldn't bail him out. And so like they had to like postpone all that. So again, it just depends on the person.
Got it. And what ended up happening to those charges?
We ended up getting them dropped.
Yeah, they were dropped.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what was really cool is that arrest when we left. So Colby didn't even know this, but I got out probably after 12 hours. He got after about 24 hours.
Yeah.
When we left in the middle of the night, hashtag free Sam and Colby was trending worldwide, #1. And we had never had that type of notoriety ever. And so we're like, oh my God. And then so as soon as he got out too, we posted like our mugshots, which was not a good idea. We shouldn't have done that.
Really?
But like we posted our mugshots and those went like viral. Everyone was talking about it. It was probably the biggest spotlight we'd ever been on. That wasn't
for sure.
just like the Kill Best Friend prank. And then our next video, like coming back to YouTube, we were averaging probably like 500K views at this
500
point.
to 700K on the Explore videos.
On the Exploring videos. And then we did the next video after that, probably 5 million in a month. So it's literally like overnight, we like 10x'd our channel just from this one arrest. And it was, don't get arrested, but this PR stunt of an arrest was probably the biggest thing that's ever happened to our channel.
Why do you regret posting your mugshot? It seemed like there was nothing but positive. It was, something you guys did a long time ago. And
Lawyer people saying like, don't be proud of it because it'll be harder for us to get you out of the charges.
Yeah. It was during the time it was
fair,
bad.
because it doesn't show that you're probably as remorseful as you should be and taking it as seriously, and it's a bit of a,
Because we were still
making
like
light of it. Yeah.
possibly going to go to court and stuff. And so
Right.
like us being like, hey, on social media.
What
like,
would have
here's
been
the mugshots.
what would have been the worst case scenario had the charges not been dropped? Like, what was the maximum for that, something like that? Like, could it be like theoretically
The
like 10 years in
maximums are,
jail
like,
or like?
insane. I think like a felon charge is like we could do 10 years, like for a felon charge, even if it is a trespassing thing. So, but no one really pays attention to the maximum because they knew like what we did was not a maximum felony,
Right.
But it could have been crazy. I'm just very glad we got out of it and then it turned out so well. And that did become a pivotal moment in our content as well. We stopped breaking into places because we can't get arrested a second time. So we started renting out places, and that's when we actually switched over to Haunted.
Now, really quick here, real talk, short form content has been one of the biggest drivers of growth for the Iced Coffee Hour. We'll take our best moments and then clip them up for platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. But let's be honest, it takes a lot of time to do it correctly. That's why tools like our sponsor, Opus Clip, are a game changer.
Opus Clip isn't just a clipping tool anymore, though. It's a full AI-powered video editor built for creators. It can automatically pull in your long-form YouTube videos, find the best moments, add captions, B-roll, and even schedule clips to post while you're away. It's like having a full-blown editing team, but powered by AI. Top creators like Jubilee and Darman are already using it. In fact, we already use it on the Iced Coffee Hour. If you see this clip that Togi's reacting to right now, it was made by Opus Clip. So sign up today. All you have to do is go to opus.pro/iced coffee hour to get started. Again, that is opus.pro/iced coffee hour, or click the link down below in the description. Seriously, guys, I could not recommend it more. Thank you so much to Opus Clip for sponsoring this episode.